1837, 1987. 150 years Churchland Baptist Church has existed. During that time we have had three names: Pine Meeting House Baptist Church, Piney Baptist Church, and now Churchland Baptist Church. But where did all of this begin? There was religious activity in this area long before then. History of Baptists in North Carolina tells us that the Reverend John Greene, on March the 20th, 1774, that was 2 years before the Declaration of Independence was signed, that he baptized 15 converts at Boone's Ford, which is 4 miles from this spot. Among those was John Barn. Although John Barn was never a member of this church, the Minutes of Liberty of Jersey Baptist Church shows that he was a deacon in their church at one time. But where do we start, and where was the building here? We will go now to that spot. Who in the world is that out there on that horse? Benny Shoaf. Hey, Benny. What in the world are you doing here?
Kirby, I'm getting ready for our church's 150th anniversary. Just thought I'd ride my horse and dress like people did in the older times.
Oh, so you dressing up like we used to?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm getting ready for that anniversary. I'm excited about this.
Well, I'm out here showing around all these historic places. You want to go with me?
Kirby, I'd enjoy that. I sure would.
Well, why don't you go tie your horse, and then you can come on and go with me. I don't think we want this horse in on this.
No, we don't want him with us.
Okay, go on and tie him up.
Okay. Kirby, where was the first church? Were we anywhere close to the vicinity where it was?
Well, Benny, I guess we could be standing in it. One of the maps that we've got that was probably drawn, 75 years after it was built, shows that it stood in this area right where we're standing. But really, I've been told just within the last week or two that it was right over here somewhere.
Okay.
But I'm not exactly sure whether it was there or not. But when I was growing up, I was always of the opinion that it was down yonder somewhere, right next to the woods.
Down there where the horse is.
That's right, down there where you tied your horse. But you know, this first one was built in 1803. They called it the Revival Congregation. It was a Union church.
A Union church? What is a Union church?
Well, that's Methodist and Baptist, Presbyterian and Lutheran, all used the same building. I guess they worshiped on different days. I don't know. And from 1803 until in the 1830s, it operated as such. Whatever happened to the Methodists and the Baptists, I mean, we know what happened to the Baptists, but whatever happened to the Methodists and the Lutheran and Presbyterian, we don't know. I guess they settled at other churches in the general area. But to get back to how it was started, if you span around and take a look in this general area here, what is now the Missionary and Primitive Cemetery, that was 2 acres of land that a fellow Abbott, Benjamin Abbott, deeded to the church for £5, which was $25. And they elected a board of trustees, which consisted of R.H. Bradshaw, Benjamin Abbott, and Richard Barnes. Now this Richard Barnes, actually I guess you could call him Junior. He's the son of the man that I was talking about earlier. I didn't tell you, but I was talking about earlier that was baptized down in the Yadkin River. And they were the trustees for this Union congregation, or the Revival congregation as they call it. They worshiped as this, Benny, until about 1830, 1832. At that time, some of the Baptists began to become missionary-minded, and the pastor from over in Fork, a fellow named Elder Joseph Pickler. He went to Raleigh when they organized the Baptist Convention and came back on fire for missions and organized that church over in Fork as a missionary church. Most of the people, it appears, it doesn't say so in the history, but it appears here believed in the old school, or primitive Baptists as we call them today. And in 1834 they organized a primitive Baptist church. And then in 1837 there was, I forget, 11 people I believe from Fork who lived in this area that were members over there, and they transferred their membership here, and a missionary Baptist church was formed, and they call it Pine Meeting House Baptist Church. And among those people was that same Richard Barnes that we talked about a while ago. Now, if you'll step on over here, I want to show you something that we've got over here.
Okay, Kirby, what do we see over here? This is not the church cemetery, is it?
No, this is a private cemetery, but it adjoins, as you notice, the church cemetery. This is the Barnes Cemetery, and buried here is John Barnes, who is buried right here. And the reason I wanted to show you that is because John is the son of the Richard that we just talked about. And John was a deacon in the church, and also John, along with Henry Clement, gave an acre of land in 1875 on which the second building was built. Up until that time, the missionary Baptists and the primitive Baptists had continued to worship in the original 20 by 40 foot log structure that had been built in 1803. And in a little while we'll be over here where that acre of land is, and I'll show it to you, but I just wanted to show you. Now, John has a lot of relatives buried here. If you look around, a lot of them are Barneses. All around here. They are his sons, his grandsons, his great-grandsons and daughters, and the people that bury here are John and Margaret Ratz Barnes' descendants or their spouses. And we'll go now on over and look at the place where Richard is buried, which is over on the other side.
Kirby, who is Richard Barnes Jr. and what's this rock wall doing?
Well, I reckon that junior sort of throws you a little bit. That's still the same Richard Barnes that was the trustee of the revival congregation and also one of the charter members when we organized as a missionary church. He is also the son of the man that was baptized in the Yadkin River, and he's the father of the man that John, who we just saw his grave. One thing we don't want to forget, though, now that all of these people had large families, and so practically all the Barneses in this area are related to each other one way or the other coming up through there. But this is Richard and his wife, Fanny Johnson, who is buried here, and he was one of the original members of our church here when it was Pine Meeting House Baptist Church. Now, if you'll come over here a little ways, I'll show you where the second church was built and the land that John Barnes gave to build it on that I was telling you about a while ago. It's right over here. You can stay set up right where. Now, Benny, right over here where you now see the parsonage is where that second church was built in 1875. The land was given by John Barnes, whose grave we saw a moment ago, and by Henry Clement. And it went all the way over here to Semerson Road, down, and then back around this way and back up here. Now, we'll go on down here now at the far end of the lot, and I'll show you something else down there.
Kirby, what is you want me to see on the end of the lot back here? All I see is grass right now.
Oh, grass is all there is now, Benny, but at the time this was built, there was more in mind than that. After the church was built up yonder in 1875, and I forgot to tell you, that was when they got the second name, and they started calling it Piney Baptist Church. But anyway, we had a preacher that come here about 1890 named Bennett, and he was real interested in schools and the children getting an education. They had also started Sunday school by that time. They needed places for people to meet, so they built a 3-room building back here, which was used for Sunday school on Sunday, and then the community paid for schooling during the week. Of course, this was long before the state took over public schools. After the state did take over public schools, this building, along with a little added to it, was used as a dormitory for the girls to stay in. And as you probably have heard, there was another dormitory over there beside the schoolhouse where the boys stayed. This preacher Bennett was real active in schools, and he pushed schools in this community. Now there's something right down here a little ways I want to show you about Preacher Bennett. Let's walk down this way.
Okay. Okay, Kirby, what you showing me? Tombstones? I see plenty.
Yeah, there's a lot here. But these two are sort of special. Preacher Bennett, while he was here, had 2 children to die. And before he left here, they had been buried. And of all the preachers we've had, these are the only 2 that I know that have children buried here. And so it was a little significant. I thought we would show it on our tour, since at least he was one of the strong preachers we had to advocate education.
Okay, Kirby, I see the children, and you mentioned ministers. Do we have any ministers buried in the cemetery nearby?
We have only one. We'll walk down this way, and I'll show you that one.
Kirby, I remember J.O. Walton when I first moved down here in '68, but he wasn't minister when I came in this community.
No, he was here in the middle 50s as he served as a preacher. I believe from somewhere around 53 or 54 to about 61 or 62. I'm not exactly sure. But Preacher Walton continued his life here after retirement until he died. And what's sort of unique about Preacher Walton is he's buried in his own coffin that he built himself. You probably remember that.
I remember seeing it in the paper, Kirby. He was a well-liked man in the community.
Yeah. I just noticed when we walked up, here's a stone for an infant child of Reverend and Mrs. Walton that has been erected. When I said a while ago that there was none other buried here, I didn't know about this stone here till just now. And if we'll walk on up this way now, I'll show you some other things, and I'll tell you more about Preacher Walton when we get on up the road.
Kirby, is this more church cemetery?
No, this is a private cemetery. In fact, there's about 3 or 4 that you're looking at right now, Benny. In fact, I've been told that altogether there's about 31 or 32 different cemeteries here right in the main area of Churchland. Over here, buried in this is some people that were leaders in our church back a few years ago, Mr. W.H. Lomax, L.E. Rickard, among many others. We can't name them all, but they were all leaders and very influential in leading our church. Now let's go on down here. I want to show you something real important.
Okay. Kirby, who was buried down here in the woods away from all the other graves?
This is Mary C. Leonard. Miss Molly, as we all knew her. She lived just down the road a little ways and owned land adjacent to the church land that we had. So she gave the church some land to build another church building on, which was in 1920. And it was probably somewhere about this time that it started being known as Churchland Baptist Church. Before that time, you know, they called it Piney Baptist Church. After Miss Leonard died, she was buried here on her own property adjacent to this other cemetery. And her grave has been here ever since. Let's walk on back up this way now, and I'll show you some more.
Kirby, this being the site of the second church, when was our parsonage built here?
Benny, 1945. We had been a part-time church until that time. In 1945, Victor L. Andrews Sr. was called as our pastor to be a full-time minister. of course, we had to have a place for him to live. So sometime during 1945, this was built. I was in the Navy at the time, so when I left, it wasn't here, and when I come back, it was here. So it was during that period of time. Now, if you walk on down this way, I want to show you one more tombstone.
Kirby, which grave did we come to see?
The one where the flowers are there. All you can see is Grubb, but it's Mr. Ed Grubb and his wife are buried there. Mr. Grubb was the janitor here at Churchland Baptist for a number of years. And you talk about a conscientious janitor now, he was one. Throw down a cigarette butt and he was right there ready to pick it up, a little wad of chewing gum paper. He was right there. He was a superb gentleman and did a superb job.
Kirby, I was here for the memorial service for this tree for Mr. Walton.
Yes, Reverend J.O. Walton was with us for quite a while. Quite a number of accomplishments took place during the time he was here. When he come here, we had just finished the outside of our educational building, and he led us in finishing it up. And then the building that had been built in 1920 was a white frame building. And he challenged us to remodel it, which we did. And we had the groundbreaking on, I believe it was Easter Sunday of 1957. And on Homecoming Day, the third Sunday in September, we worshiped for the first time in our new building. During the time of the remodeling, which a lot of it was done by volunteer labor, we only missed 2 Sundays worshiping in the sanctuary, which times we used the schoolhouse. This memorial tree was given by his family in his memory, but there has been many other memorials given. In fact, all the windows in the church here were memorial windows, the pews, the furniture. But 2 other special memorials that I would like to mention is the bell, which was given by the Sowers family in memory of Noreen Sowers. I believe this was installed and rung for the first time in September of 1941. And also the organ that is now in the fellowship hall was given by the Graham Barnes family in memory of Graham, who died in 1953. Graham was a leader in our church. He was our church treasurer. He was my Sunday school teacher when I was a boy. And incidentally, Graham was a great-grandson of John Barnes, who gave the land where our parsonage now is now. Benny, let's walk on around now and look at our fellowship hall.
Kirby, here we see our fellowship hall. This building was started while we have under our present pastor, Paul Millwood. This building was started in 1981, completed in 1982. Since then, the church members have paid about $250,000 on this building and owe only about $35,000. This building has been very well used many times for funerals, for wedding receptions, for sports activities. This building is used very, very much.
I hope that you have enjoyed this tour as much as we have enjoyed bringing it to you. And so now, while you listen to our choir under the direction of Russ Griggs with Peggy Barnhart at the organ, this is Kirby Greene Jr.
This is Benny Shoaf.
Wishing you a goodbye.